TCT presents Public Report, a look at the issues and events of importance to our viewing area. Now, here's your host.
Hi, it's Pastor Larry Macon Jr., your host of TCT Public Report. I'm so glad that you're here with us today. We have an excellent guest here today. Her name is Sharon Murphy Williams. She's with the Phoebe Foundation.
Yes.
And so she is the executive there and also the leader of that organization. And she's been well known. She's been given accolades from Essence Magazine, Ebony Magazine, Jet Magazine, and even the Cleveland Plain Dealer. And so I am so excited to hear what she has to tell us today and just report to us, and she can help you out. So I want you to just stay tuned and watch this show because I think she's going to really help some people out today. So Sharon, good to have you here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so Sharon, tell us a little bit about the Phoebe Foundation.
Phoebe Foundation. Actually, I think if I give you the origins of it,
okay,
it'll set the tone.
Yeah, tell us the story.
Phoebe, Romans 16:1.
Okay.
She's a businesswoman in the Bible.
Okay.
And the comment that was made by Paul, it said, as long as she serves God and she serves our people, whatever she has need of in business, you're to do it.
Gotcha.
And I said, I can stand on that. And that's how Phoebe, that's our foundation.
Okay.
We are not a foundation that funds out.
Okay.
We're a nonprofit financial literacy agency that services and serves communities, churches, corporations. We just serve in the financial money arena of making it better, getting money better. We're the game-changing agency, if you will, for better stewardship of our wealth. Phoebe was founded in 2003.
Okay.
And it actually came about because by trade, my background was at Dun & Bradstreet.
Okay.
And I was working with a lot of my individual clients. And one day just said, Lord, if I could find one way to teach a whole lot of people how to do what I do for somebody, that would just be amazing.
Gotcha.
Now, the truth was, I wasn't on my knees. I didn't realize that I was really talking to him. I just called on him. And from that, what I saw was, he said, I'm answering you. So here is an opportunity. And I was approached by the late Congresswoman Stephanie Tubbs Jones.
Yes.
Who was doing the AmeriDream program that was housing home ownership for African American families.
Right, I remember that.
And I partnered with them, and I came up with a flagship program called Head Home.
Okay.
It was geared for single head of household women. But then I needed a name, and I was like, well, I don't want to put my for-profit business name out there because I want to be a community servant. And it was ironic that I got a phone call from a pastor that said, if you look in Romans, you'll find the name that you're looking for. And I was thinking, I have to read the whole book of Romans to find a name. Being obedient, I did. And when I got to Romans 16:1 and I heard what was required, what is required of me is I have to serve him.
Gotcha.
And then I have to serve his people. And if I do those two things, then whatever it is that we have need of in business is to be done. And for over a decade, I stand on those words, and his words do not return unto him void. We have amazing partners. We have people who support the nonprofit efforts that we have that just make it possible for us to make a difference in the lives of people.
Right, and I've seen you do that. Myself, as pastor of Mount Zion Oakwood Village, we have the Freedom Conference, and you've been very instrumental in helping people in financial literacy. So tell me this, as far as the population you serve, do you more so serve individuals, organizations? How do you kind of process?
We actually serve and then ...
Okay.
We are generationally a financial literacy agency. We work with as young as 8 years of age.
Oh, wow.
Up until, I think our oldest client might be 93.
Oh, wow.
So when you talk about who do we serve, who don't we serve?
Okay.
We serve in the capacities of corporations, the likes of Lockheed Martin. We've worked with some of their employees. We've worked with Visiting Angels, who is a local Cleveland agency, with money management for their staff. We work with churches. I was in the Cleveland schools for 10 years,
Okay.
teaching teens. And so we are able to cross all boundaries and areas because financial wellness and literacy, not the illiterate, the literacy of it all is a great sustainer of even good employees, great families. And our goal is to always break these generational curses of being bound by debt and or being bound by the lack of knowing. You know, we perish because of the lack of knowledge. And so our goal and our plan is to not be able to walk into a door and make a difference in whoever is on the other side of that door, be it corporate, be it our churches, be it individuals.
Got you.
Yes.
So how would someone kind of become a Phoebe client, I guess you would say?
Well, the best thing to do is follow our website because all the things that we do are free to those that come. So we remove the excuse that I can't make it or I can't afford it because that was one of the reasons why Phoebe was actually birthed because what I teach is what I actually do for my clients. And I found that the need was greater than the ability for all to afford. And so I said, well, there's got to be another way because this information is too valuable to put a price on it. So how about we just remove the cost? And so we do, a lot of our classes are on the website. We do partnerships with churches such as Mount Zion, as well as we've done it for the Word Church, my own church, Zion Pentecostal Church of God. So all of those opportunities, and they could call us. That's always one of the best ways. And sometimes our programs come about by the need of the caller. They may say, we're doing something and we'd like to know, could the Phoebe Foundation collaborate with us to help us put this event on? And so we never believe we stand alone. We just stand strong with who we're standing with.
Now you mentioned something that we need to let our viewers know. What is your website?
Our website is www.Phoebe, that's PHEBE, Foundation, all one word, .org.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Is there a number they can call?
They can call our office at 216-766-5797.
Gotcha. Now I know you guys partner with some other organizations.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about your partnerships?
Our partnerships have been broad and they've been very, very diverse. I sit on the board for the Department of Aging. Let's use that for an example for the city of Cleveland. And so I service seniors with predatory practices, preventing being a victim of scamming. A big issue. We've partnered with probably one of our longest standing financial institutions has to be Third Federal Bank, and it kind of dates me because there's a gentleman by the name of Charles Thigpen who has since retired, but he was the mentor of wealth building with the ability to add the wealth to the build. We've partnered with Zion, Mount Zion. We have partnered with the Word Church, as I had mentioned. We partner with TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, which are the three major credit bureaus, on facilitating workshops on better understanding how to build wealth on paper and not in the pocket. We've collaborated with the Greeks, if you will, different universities as far as Indianapolis, Indiana. My daughter went to Butler University, and she said, I need you to come up with a workshop that would be applicable to my peers. And we did Don't Discredit. And it was just teaching the youth that as you're going forward with this phenomenal opportunity of education and you're picking your field and trade, how much do you project to make? And are you going to be a good steward of that? And how do you begin that stewardship early?
That's the challenge, being a good steward of what you have. So that's the truth. Now there's a term, YAS, Yaz. Tell us about that term. It's very unique to the Phoebe Foundation.
It is. It's brand new. Yaz is Youth Above Statistics. And what that represents is because statistically, our youth are going to be financially illiterate, in debt. That statistics says that the average teen will be 72 still paying student loans.
Wow.
Statistically, they are underbanked or unbanked. Statistically, they are going to be bad stewards of their money.
Right.
And we found that we have worked with over 5,000 youth
Wow.
through different summits, through schools, through churches, and that we have some youth that are going to beat that statistic.
Right.
And so there's a young lady by the name of Courtney Murphy,
Okay.
who happened to have said, I said, we need a youth board, because in order for us to be relevant, you have to have people who understand how you remain relevant.
Right.
I said, I need a youth board.
Right.
And I said, but we need a name, and we need a name that'll set us above. And she said, how about Youth Above Statistics?
That makes sense.
And that rang so loud because that's who we're creating. We're creating the kids that are not going to be the statistic.
And not a part of the norm of what people think,
Absolutely.
you know, the way they're going to end up.
Absolutely. So we are still in search.
Okay.
We want to have at least 100 youth to be a part of this board.
Okay.
And so we are always looking for youth that say, I would like to be above the statistic. Help me, and I'd love to give. One of the things that I believe is much that's given, much is required.
Right.
Give us of your time. Be a steward of your time, and let us invest in you better stewardship, better money management, and relationships. I try to tell our youth, it's not who you know, it's who knows you.
Gotcha, that's right.
And as young as they are, they may not know who they need to. And so it becomes incumbent on us to make those connections and those relationships early.
Right.
So that they can just build on them as they go. And I
Right.
find that when you lend youth a hand up, not a handout,
Right.
a hand up,
That's right.
which requires them to come up. We'll meet you where you are. That's one of the things that I think is unique about Phoebe is we don't require you to be anywhere yet. But then the expectations of where you're going to wind up is
Right.
high.
That's what's important.
That's what's important.
That's good. That's
Yes.
good. Wow, that's good because a lot of people look at financial literacy once they're adults, once you've got into the problem. So by helping the youth, you're actually helping them before they even can get into a problem. So
Absolutely.
they're educated beforehand.
We say this, it's never too early. And guess what, adults, parents, and seniors, it's never too late.
That's right.
Let's
That's right.
get it. Let's get it better. And sometimes money was not a conversation in my generation. You didn't sit down with your parents and talk about money.
Right.
They managed the household and you lived in the house.
Right.
The unfortunate part about it is, but it's required to know.
That's right.
And so giving our parents an opportunity to catch up and or reinvent themselves. It's all right to reinvent yourself.
That's right.
Today's story does not have to be tomorrow's finish.
Right.
Where do you want to wind up? And credit is so reestablishable. People say, can you repair credit? No, I don't believe you can repair credit. That's not a term I ever use. And I've been in this credit wealth building industry for decades, and
Right.
I'll leave it at that. But you can reestablish yourself. And reestablishment just simply means I'm doing better because I know better.
Right.
And that's one of the roles that we play best with parents and adults is to say, in spite of where you are, tell us where you're going.
Right.
Don't give us your plan because it didn't work.
Right.
Give us your goal
Right.
and let us help you map out a plan
Help you
to
get
actually
there.
get there.
Wow, now you do a lot for people, a lot for organizations. I already
Yes.
know and I can tell. The question is, how can they support you? And I mean, the Phoebe Foundation, as you said, is a nonprofit, but how can they help you continue on this mission that you and this organization is doing to help the greater good of people?
You know, there's always that immediate answer that says we need funding.
Yeah.
That's absolutely critical and so true.
Right.
Because the classes and what we do don't cost the individuals. I always tell them, but it wasn't free.
Right.
It cost someone. Someone
Right.
invested in you. So they can go to our website, they can donate.
Okay.
But we're also looking for some volunteers. We would love for some people to say, I'll give you of our time.
Right.
We will give you of our talents.
Right.
And if you can get a prayer through, send up some prayers.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. I like that.
Yes.
I like that. So also, you mentioned you help people with mortgages and home buying and all that. What are some of the challenges you say that new home buyers or even home buyers who've done it before are having right now?
We woke up and decided we wanted a house. And that was the extent of the plan.
Wow.
We lacked a plan. We don't write it down and make it plain. And we don't follow it. What we have come to is an instant society that wants it right now. And what I find probably the biggest challenge is patience for the better outcome. You can buy a house today, but what people don't understand is it's not the challenge of getting it, it's the challenge of keeping it.
Yeah.
And so knowing how to know the process, be willing to stay the course, get your money together first. Don't wait until I get into the house. And there are a lot of programs that are out. And people say, well, what about the down payment assistance? And can't they give me some money? And I always say, there may be a program, but how about you fund your program? You be the funder of it so that should there be monies available to be given, that those are just extras, and your yes was not based on someone else's
Program.
telling you,
Right.
yes, I'll give this to you. But another challenge that I see is we are not aware of our credit and the impact that it has.
Right.
We look at our credit reports when we want something, and once we get it, we go back to the old behaviors of maybe I don't look at it, maybe I do look at it. My advice to anyone that wants to buy a home is let's get ready. Let's get ready to do it. It's so doable. Don't fall into the belief that is the American dream. It needs to be your dream. It needs to
Right.
be your goal.
Right.
The Jones are no longer someone to
Yeah,
keep up
we
with.
don't need to keep up with them at
Be
all.
your own captain of your own ship. What is it that you want? Do you understand what that means? Because if you're my neighbor, I have high expectations of my neighbors
Right.
because you impact my property value.
That's right.
How you maintain it, the
Right.
maintenance of it.
Right.
But I think that the biggest challenge is we are not sure what to do. And the one thing that the Phoebe Foundation, I think, is amazing about us, we don't educate to a product because we have nothing to sell you.
Right.
We've closed $500 million in mortgages in little under a decade
Wow.
through education. But our collaborative partners and the communities that we surround are beneficiaries of our education because we don't have any, we don't write mortgages.
Right.
But we got $500 million.
Right.
We don't
So
do
somebody's
student
benefiting from what
Somebody's
you guys are
benefiting.
doing.
And we're all right with that as long as the Phoebe graduate is the greatest benefactor
Right.
of the whole process.
Right.
We teach them before you get there what the requirements are and what's expected of you. Because I don't like to be told no. I'll ask them again. Did you mean no?
Right,
Well, tell me what do I need to do to get the yes?
Right. To get to the yes.
To get to the yes,
Right.
and that's where we educate people to get to the yes.
Well, where's the biggest challenges you think people are having today? I know we talked about credit, we talked about mortgages, we're talking about financial literacy, but what's the big one that people are just having the biggest challenge at or they're not doing right now?
Adjusting to money is just not there. You have to remember, our whole country went through an economic turn,
That's right.
but we haven't adjusted yet. We still want
The
what we
same-
want,
Yeah, the same.
but we
privileges.
haven't learned how to adjust or to readjust to the change. We don't change well. And it's like, well, I've always had cable. Well, I've always had 5 cars. Well, I've always gone out to dinner 4 times a week. I get it. And I'm not saying you shouldn't want to get back to that. But what I'm saying is, are you operating in the season you're in? We're not seasonally operating.
That's a good one.
And it's important that you have to recognize there's a season for all things.
That's right.
And am I operating in the season I'm in? Not the one that I'm accustomed to, not the one that I want, the one I'm in. And so I think, and the willingness to make those changes are our challenge.
How long do you think it takes for a person to turn their kind of situation around? I know it changes, but is there kind of a threshold? Is it a couple years? Is it, You know,
All depends on who's teaching
depends
them.
on who's teaching them. I got you.
I think it all depends on who's teaching them and who's their accountability partner. That's one of the things at the Phoebe Foundation.
Yeah, talk to me about that, the accountability part.
Accountability partner is, okay, I get it, no. Accountability partner, let me see that budget. Let me see your savings account. When's the last deposit we've made? Okay, I get it. Someone that's not going, now, a spouse is not always the best accountability partner. I'm blessed, I have an amazing husband that rarely he'll tell me no. So he can't be my accountability partner.
That's right.
In that regard. We have a team of counselors and coaches that, depending on who's working with you and what are we working through, we become your accountability partner, that you have to answer to someone, because as adults, we don't answer to people about our money. You know, are you asking me about my money? Are you kidding me? You know, that's one of the things they have to understand. If you come here, you're going to have to answer to somebody.
Right.
Because when you tell people you're a Phoebe graduate, that speaks to, first of all, it speaks volumes.
Right.
Then you speak to our works. And don't make my works not well. When I know we're great investors, we are willing to invest in you, I am always looking for that return.
Right.
And that return is you being better.
Right.
Now, you asked a great question. How long does it take? When it comes to money, it is as individual as a thumbprint.
Got you. Wow.
Nobody's story is the same. Is why I've had the privilege of sitting in other agencies, and when they talk, they want you to move as one unit. I don't believe that. I think information is general, and I think all information is important to be given. But now let's sit down, Pastor Larry, and let's look at your situation. Let's figure out, how do we use this information? How do we apply it to you?
Gotcha.
Because it's not applied the same with all.
Right. It's different.
It's different. Wow. Every household is different. Everyone is different. We could have the same income, same bills.
Right.
How we manage and how we go about it is going to be different. And so finding your own financial management vehicle
is what it needs to be.
And get in your car.
Wow. That's right. Get in your car.
Get in
and
your
drive.
car. Yeah, right.
What do you feel is the worst challenges people are having? I mean, is it the mortgage? Is it the credit? Is it just gathering their money? Which one would you put your finger on people coming to you about the most?
Student loans.
Student loans.
Student loans.
Wow.
Student loans, because they're ongoing. Even if you find yourself financially in trouble and need to file a bankruptcy. I've had people say, what do you think about a bankruptcy? It is your consumer right. And if you can be forgiven sooner than you can resolve, I don't believe stay stuck. Sometimes you're just beyond resolve, and you need to. But you can't bankrupt a student loan.
Wow.
So it's always there. And I ask people, even when I hear people say, I'm going back to school, I said, have you already made your associate's money? Have you already made your bachelor degree money while you're going after a master's?
Right.
Have you yet proven yourself those dollars before you create a new debt? And I am so for education. My kids I've got a child that's in her master's, and though I can say she made associate's money when that's what she had, she made bachelor's money when that's what she has. Now we're expecting this master's to actually master this income. So student loans are a huge piece.
So you need to really be cognizant of what type of money you're borrowing, and can you pay it back?
Can you pay it back?
Wow.
And what people don't understand is, then it becomes the paper. Credit is what people go, oh, I've got good credit, bad credit, what's your credit score? That's all wonderful.
Right.
Most people say, well, Ms. Murphy, I need you to let me look at my credit score. And I say, well, your credit score is a reflection of your stewardship. Let's look at your stewardship first, then I'll look at your score.
Right. Then I'll get the whole picture.
Because it'll tell me, because there may be some things that if you were doing differently, not always better, sometimes just differently, you would be in a far better position.
Wow.
And when it comes to credit, it's pulled for everything. There are people who I have seen get a job and be paid less because their credit says I'm not accustomed to money.
Wow.
I have seen people denied a job because of their credit.
Wow.
And I've seen them denied, and credit is a denier. And so I tell people, you know, watch your paper. You know, watch your paper because credit is your credibility. And you want the best credibility out here. So get off all the monitorings. I don't mean to bash anybody's monitoring services, but I have people say, well, I look at my credit every day. Why would you do that? Why don't you monitor your behavior?
Right, and you don't have to worry about it.
Then you don't have to watch this piece of paper every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Now tell me this, our show is wrapping up very soon and wanted to, again, let people know how they can find you. Let's reiterate where you can be found again
Okay.
at the Phoebe Foundation.
We are at www.phoebefoundation.com
Okay.
and or phoebefoundation.org.
Okay, great.
Our office number is 216-766-5797.
Got you. Now, are classes and things in your offices, or do you hold them kind of within the community?
We hold them within the community.
Okay.
90% of our workshops are held within the community.
Okay.
We usually do them quarterly.
Okay.
In the summer, we are very teen youth focused.
Okay.
We have a teen summit coming up that is from 14 to 19. It's free. We invite their parents because we want to create some generational wealth and break these generational financial bondages
Right.
that we find ourselves in.
Right.
And teaching our children how to teach up and our parents how to teach down.
Gotcha.
So that together, you know, we're just a force to be reckoned
So
with.
you've got something for the whole family.
We do.
You've got the youth, you've got the adults, you've got the seniors, you've got your organizations where people are gathered
Yes.
to help them. And so I believe the Phoebe Foundation is doing a wonderful job.
Thank
and
you.
I want to again let you know, Sharon, that you have done a great job for the community. You've done some great things for our church. And so I just would like to let every viewer know that it's very important that they get right financially.
Yes.
And work on financial literacy, working on making sure you know where your money is going and making sure you have money for the future.
Yes.
A lot of people forget about their future and what is needed. So again, Sharon, thank you for coming. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
Phoebe Foundation, remember that name. That is a name that you need to keep in your Rolodex because she can help you. Again, thanks again. I'm Pastor Larry at TCT Public Report. Take care and God bless.
This has been Public Report. Public Report discusses the issues of interest and importance to our viewing area. Please remember that the views expressed by our guests are their own and do not necessarily represent the views of TCT or the station.